Welcome to our evening meditation in already into July, and so the year is already half gone. Doesn't time fly? And this day is also drawing to a close, and so in the quietness we still ourselves. We breathe deeply, recentering our senses if they're scattered, refocusing, recentering just on the idea of the divine presence, us always in that presence but conscious of it now. So take another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again. And as we clear ourselves with our breath, we adjust where we're sitting, just conscious of our place, conscious of our posture, trying to be upright, but sensing our connection, and either closing our eyes or lowering our gaze, or using the image on the screen of the island of Iona and the abbey there. And returning to the breath. Adding a little bit more structure, we count to 4 on the in-breath through the nose, and then 4 on the out-breath. Four on the in, and 4 on the out. So continue with that pattern in your own time. And then finally adding a holding for 2 after the in-breath. As you continue with that pattern, that count, if you're able to notice any physical sensations with the breath, you might be conscious of the sound of the breath, or the rise and fall of the belly. We might remember that the Hebrew word ruach and the Greek pneuma denote both breath and spirit. So as we breathe in, a sense of the indwelling divine spirit. And to the pattern of the breathing, just notice anything else about the body. Perhaps just notice, focus on the contact between yourself and the cushion, the chair, the sofa, the contact of the feet on the ground. So the breath, the air, spirit, connection. And the picture on the screen of Iona is connected with a recent pilgrimage undertaken by Peter Greig, the founder of the 24/7 prayer movement, who's just completed 300 miles walking from Iona to Lindisfarne. And it was possible to follow him through the daily devotions of Lectio 365. A couple of things he said along the way that just repeating here. He talked about the challenge of reaching this post-Christian, post-modern culture, noting how so many churches are suffering decline, and the need for leaders like Aidan, in whose footsteps he was following, Columba and Cuthbert. He also spoke of how Celtic Christians built holistic communities, monasteries which served variously as hospital, school, hotel, workshop, open prison, night shelter, and drop-in day centre, as well as church, retreat house, and place of prayer and spiritual healing. And perhaps we've noticed some slight revival of that, with churches developing as places of warm welcome, or community hubs, or even healing hubs. And then on the road he quoted Jeremiah at places where he was at a crossroads and wasn't sure of the direction. Thus says the Lord, stand by the roads and look and ask for the ancient paths, where the good way is, and walk in it, and find rest for your souls. And then finally on Lindisfarne, which of course is almost an island, but is joined to the mainland by a causeway, but is cut off at high tide. He noted the tides which govern access to the island. And as part of his prayer, he says, I relinquish myself to the steady rhythms and seasons of God. And this idea of the tides and the rhythm. As the tide advances, pulled by the moon, propel me today into the world. I surrender to your sending. As the tide retreats into the deep, draw me today into your depths. I relinquish myself to rhythms of rest. And that very much chimes with me with a couple of lines I've seen elsewhere. The idea of the love of truth drives us to seek God. The truth of love takes us out again to the world. So coupling that with the idea of the tide. As the tide retreats into the deep, draw me into your depths. As the tide advances, pulled by the moon, propel me into the world. And so that idea of retreating into the depths of God, and linking that to our breathing, thinking back over our day. Am I carrying any trouble in my mind from the worries of the day? Breathing in slowly, I receive peace. Am I carrying tension in my body from the strains of the day? Breathing out slowly, I relax and release my stress into the internal presence. Breathing in slowly, I receive peace. Breathing out slowly, I relax and release my stress into the eternal presence. The rhythm of my breathing, the rhythm of the tide. Breathing in slowly, I receive peace. Breathing out slowly, I relax and release my stress into the eternal presence. Breathing in slowly, I receive peace. Breathing out slowly, I relax and release any stress into the eternal presence. And as we move to our longer silence, we might adapt this further by practicing the Ignatian examen, which briefly involves becoming aware of God's presence, reviewing the day with gratitude, paying attention to any emotions that arise, asking the Spirit to show me ways that I experience God's goodness and presence. And then looking forward with anticipation to tomorrow. And so we move to silence with music from Taizé. I am sure I shall see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Yes, I shall see the goodness of our God. Stand firm, trust in the Lord. And so to silence, maybe just focusing on the breathing, maybe thinking of the rhythm of the tide, or individual waves coming in and flowing out, or reviewing the day, giving thanks, or practicing our self-awareness, becoming our own observer. Whatever's helpful to you in this sacred silence. So coming out of our silence, yes, I shall see the goodness of our God. And some closing words from Liturgies from Lindisfarne by Ray Simpson. Day by day, dear Lord, teach us from your word and your world. Companion us on the pilgrimage of life. Free us to live in your rhythms. Spur us to powerful prayer. Strip from us all that clutters. Cherish through us your creation. Heal through us what is wounded. Blow us to scenes of dream or need. Weave together through us what has been torn apart. Reach out through us with your justice, truth, and love.